Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us for another design conversation tonight. Today, we are lucky to have Sharon with us. So, Sharon is an artist, full-time artist, right? Uh,
Yes, yes.
she has amazed me with her artworks. It's everything that she drew is really unexpected. All right. So, to not to waste so much time, so I'll pass Sharon to introduce yourself to the audience, perhaps.
Yeah, okay. Hey, thank you, Chunwai, and thank you everyone who is attending the talk today. Good evening, everyone. A heartfelt thanks to Equator College and Chunwai for having me on this episode of the Design Conversation series. Truly an honor. All right, here's a brief info about myself. So, I'm Sharon, and I go by the name Sharon SSK for all my art stuff. Too many Sharons in the world. So I was born in Alor Gajah, Malacca, and throughout my childhood, I've been moving from states to states because of my father's career. So I don't really have a fixed place where I can call it my hometown. Sungai Petani Kedah was the last stop, and that I guess qualified to be called as my hometown. It's obvious that I'm not a Penangite, but my husband is. So that's why I'm now rooted here for good. So I started my journey as a color pencil artist back in 2013 and still actively practicing till today. To tell you the truth, it's not if not for color pencil art, I probably won't be doing anything that is art related. What made me do this? Well, firstly, it is because color pencil has always been my favorite medium and tools to use for artworks when I was in school a long time ago lah. So that after so many years, at the end of 2012, I discovered that people actually created fine arts with color pencil, with this medium. And in fact, there's an organization in the United States that solely dedicated in championing colored pencil art. So when I found out about that, it really opens up a whole new horizon for me. But unfortunately, at that time, color pencil art was absolutely unheard of over this side of the globe where we are at now, So immediately something in me clicked, and after doing further research on the medium, I made up my mind to pursue color pencil art, not as an hobby, but as a profession. I'm really serious into that because I knew the moment when I did all the research that it has a very good potential in the fine art industry. So the journey was a challenge, but I persevered through. And after 8 years into it, I'm still amazed by what this medium is able to produce. So up until today, I am still learning. And that genre and style of my art, which is why I'm here today, is realism, something that I've always been fascinated by. So, okay, uh, let's begin and explore the world of realism. I'm sharing my slide now. All right. Okay. So, realism, what it is? Realism is a way of portraying or thinking reality. The word realism is used in many liberal arts in various ways, such as in music, art, and philosophy. It usually means trying to be true to reality. It is where the word realistic comes from. There are realism in music, politics, history, literature, and philosophy, to name a few. But this evening, we shall focus on realism in art. So, now to put it plainly, realism is everything and everywhere, around and among us, including us. We are living in the world of reality. It is always been here. So, realism in general. Realism was stimulated by several intellectual development in the 19th century, with its emphasis on the common man as an artistic subject. embrace the progressive aims of modernism, seeking new truth through the re-examination and overturning of traditional system of values and belief, concern itself with how life was structured socially, economically, politically, and culturally. So, realism is broadly considered the beginning of modern art due to its conviction that everyday life and the modern world were suitable subjects for art. This led to unflinching, sometimes ugly portrayal of life, unpleasant moment, what we call the ugly truth. So, realism in art, an artistic movement which portray contemporary subjects and situations with truth and accuracy, applied as a more general stylistic term to forms of sharply focused, realistic, almost photographic painting, irrespective of subject matter. It is the choice and treatment of subject matter that defines realism as a movement in arts, rather than the careful attention to visual appearance. So visually, realism is an art style that focuses on making pieces look as realistic and true to life as possible, to portray the subject matter in a way that captures the reality and essence of life. For example, when we see something that we recognize and able to relate to, it has the capacity to evoke some sort of emotional reactions. As we get better understanding of realism, one will understand that it is the choice and the treatment of the subject matter that defines realism. This means story and messages, rather than the careful attention to visual appearances. So let me share here a couple of examples from my artworks. So this is a piece that I did of my mother, holding the hand of my late father in the hospital.
Sorry, Sharon.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
your slide is not running. It's still on realism. Okay.
So now, okay, so I think it's better
Yes.
for me to see. Can you see here now better?
Yes, can.
All right, okay, let's start here. So earlier when I spoke about 3 and 4, okay, fine, now with visual. So this is the piece that I did of my mother holding the hand of my late father in the hospital a few weeks before he passed away. At a glance, you see all the details that are incorporated to show where this happened. The green hospital gown and the wrist tag are pretty obvious. Most people will know that the hand with the tag is a medical patient. These are details. But the whole story, whole piece is a story by itself. To have and to hold is a snippet from a marriage vow, if you are unaware. And therefore, it's clear that these are hands of a married elderly couple who vowed to stay together through thick and thin. Okay, next slide. Okay, this I have a very interesting story to share. And this happened back in 2014 when I did a small colored pencil art exhibition. While I was mingling about explaining my art to a few visitors, I noticed a young lady who kept going to and fro in front of this portrait, looking quite lost. I approached her, thanked her for coming, and asked her thought about the exhibition. She held my hands and her fingers were cold. She looked a bit distraught. Seeing this, I was so worried and I asked her whether she was all right. She looked at me and told me that she tried to take a closer look at the details of my father's portrait. She tried doing it 3 times by walking away and back, but still could not look straight into his eyes. She was tearing up while she was telling me this. I was shocked and puzzled. So I told her that it was all right to say anything on your mind. I asked her why. Was the painting too scary, too ugly? Just tell me. I'm open to any comments. She shook her head and said, no, and tears just came rolling down her cheeks. She told me that she felt overcome by such overwhelming emotions when she tried looking into my father's eyes. She just could not explain why. So, this was one of my most unforgettable moments. It was sort of an affirmation that I was heading the right direction. So, Next slide. So why realism? It was developed and preserved first and foremost as a means of communication, very much like spoken and written languages, a universal language that enable communication with all people and to people of all times, past, present, and future, a representational narrative of true to life in terms of the enactment of recognizable subjective experiences. So the earliest form of written languages use simple drawings of real objects to represent those objects. That's realism true and true. So without common language, there is no communication and no understanding. Visual art are best understood first, last, and always as a language. It is clear that realism can be understood by all people everywhere on earth, regardless of what language it is they speak or write in. So, another one. So, this is a scene that I happened to come across, which got me literally rooted on the spot and knew that I had to put this onto paper. It has a story to tell. But what is the story? So that I leave it to the viewers to tell or interpret from their observation and probably their experiences. Pluralism, okay. Here's another story. Also in an exhibition, but a group event where this piece was exhibited. During the evening of the opening, I noticed a foreign looking man stood in front of this piece for quite a while. He walked away several times but kept going back to it, staring intensely. After observing him for a while, I walked up to him and, as usual, introduced myself as the artist of this piece. But before I could ask him anything, he said, "Hold on. Before you explain about this artwork to me, let me share my own interpretation of it to you and see whether I'm right or wrong." Oh, by the way, the man was Iranian and he is a civil engineer. And he told me that he is totally clueless about art. And what he sees in this piece is based on his experiences and logical interpretation. So, all right, I said, and he really took his time and went on explaining every little bit of his observation and thoughts. And guess what? He was spot on with everything that I was trying to express. I was speechless. I felt as though he went inside my head and literally copied every word about this piece. So to me, it was such a magical moment knowing that there are people who actually get it. So, what was my message in this piece? My interpretation of this painting was based on sociology, a condition in which numerous distinct ethnic, religious, cultural groups are present and tolerated within a society. So each rock has its own unique characteristics, shapes, colors, and textures. I use them metaphorically to portray today's society. So each rock represents us as individual. Some are similar but never quite alike. Some are beautiful to look at. Some are just plain at a glance. But group them all together, they complement each other beautifully. So there are, I think, more than 10 variety of terms that branches out from realism art. I can't name them all, but here are a few dynamic approaches to realistic art that are seen everywhere, especially on social media. I'm a bit biased here since I'm a color pencil artist. So all the image of these artworks I'm sharing next are of my friends and peers in the colored pencil art circle. So hold on to your jaw. Now let us begin with the slideshow. So contemporary movement that revitalized realism and gave it a new momentum that has continued throughout today in various forms. Some approach it with impressive precision and refinement, focusing on the composition, value, nuances to give the subject a three-dimensional feel. There are others who incorporate a current event and incident in their artwork. Look closely at this picture. It shows a half-eaten breakfast with the New York Times partially hidden. Look closely at the date of the paper if you can, and the flame reflected from the glasses on top of the newspaper. What strikes your mind? So anyone can give me an answer to it? No?
Nine
So
11.
yes, yes, correct. So it's September 11, 2001, the fall of Twin Towers. So this evoked a lot of emotion. You have to actually see, you know. So this is what we call a contemporary realism. So photorealism. So in contemporary art, the term photorealism or photographic realism describes a style of highly detailed 20th century realist painting in which the artist attempt to replicate an image from a photograph in all its microscopic exactness. At this moment, photorealist art is by far most popular and appreciated for its huge wow factor, where it is often mistaken for actual photograph. Okay. So hyperrealism is kind of a step forward from photorealism. It utilized the notion of precision and high definition and produce an image that can include emotional, social, cultural, and political thematic elements to enhance the visual narrative. Surrealism, which is, I think, the most one of the most popular genre for the young people nowadays, right? You know, so surrealism defies logic. Artists unlock ideas and images from their unconscious mind. So others sought to depict dream worlds or hidden psychological tension. So next slide. Why realism is valuable for practicing artists? Basic elements including line, shape, form, texture, and balance. They might not seem like much on their own, but together they are part of almost everything we see and create. All about sticking to the basic realistic form and making it work first. So let's consider this. All stylized art is at least somewhat based on reality. Fantasy landscape and buildings have a lot in common with real landscape and buildings, while stylized humanoid characters, like what Chunwai is doing, are usually based on the human figure. Even in digital programs, artists still need to understand the fundamentals of graphic shapes, light and shade, and how to invent form in order to execute their vision. This is where strong understanding and technical skill in realism can make a huge difference. Why is it important for any artist or anyone in the design field to learn and understand realism art? Fundamental of design are the foundation of every visual medium, from fine arts to any design-oriented fields. They are present, in seemingly unimportant details. If I'm not wrong, in the design foundation, there are a total of 6 fundamental elements in the design work: the line, the shape, color, texture, value, and space. For designers, that leads on further to the principle of design, which are balance, proportion, contrast, harmony, and so on and so forth. So all this, more or less, summarize the importance of learning and understanding of realism in arts. Hence, that is why it is compulsory for all students who enroll into Equator College are required to take the fundamental course in visual art, right? Jumai, am I right? Right? So, right?
Yes.
So, so to sum it all, just remember this. To be good at anything, you have to first master the basics. You need to learn the rules so you can break them, you know. So easy as that. So that's all I have for now.
All right,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much. So
Yeah.
it's mind blowing when you show your work and the other artists' works who use
My
color
friends,
pencil.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to the audience out there, the artwork just now that Sharon has shown are all uh, drawn with color pencil, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
so how long does it take you to complete one painting like that?
Oh, okay, I've been asked this question many times. So it depends on the size.
Yeah.
But sometimes size it's not the size. I think it's the complication of the work. You know, like the one I show you the hanging of the coats.
Yeah.
You know, the story and the
Yes. Yes.
rustic.
Yes.
So that even though it's not big, it's about A2 in size. A2 I think is about 27 inches times 17 inches around that big.
Yeah.
So I'm not good in centimeters, so go inches. So that took me about almost 8 weeks
Oh
because
wow.
of all the details. But sometimes people wonder my recent one that I do of a langor, the
Yeah.
monkey, right? So it was big. It was about 24 by 30 inches. In fact, I believe I can finish it easily within 4 weeks, but I drag on.
Okay.
You know, so probably I think it's the subject matter. I'm very familiar with furs, if you know, like an
Yeah.
animal, you know.
Yes.
So to me, it comes very easily, you know. So it automatically. So it all depends on the subject matter, not about the size,
Yeah, I
right?
think I seen you post the langos. It's very detailed. So again from the first time when I saw your painting, I always thought you are a photographer until I get nearer to the painting.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
right.
You,
So
yeah.
during this pandemic, I think we as an artist you have been exhibiting outside of Malaysia. You know, you have traveled a
Mm,
lot and so on. So what are the challenges now that we all can't travel? Uh, do you still
mm.
do your exhibition somewhere else?
Oh yeah. I mean, for me, the lockdown it doesn't actually affect me at all. Why? Because first of all, color pencil art is not popular here. So galleries are quite skeptic to hang to accept my work or to hang group shows. You know, people will now think about color pencil art. So I focus mainly from the beginning, started in 2013 abroad, which is United States. So most of my exhibition, I mean, I only went once through after 8 years, only once, good enough to experience how it feels. But most of the time, I send my artwork abroad for exhibition, most of them. So actually, my artwork travel more than me everywhere in the United States, not me. So local exhibition only recently, this past couple of years, the people start to sort of pay attention to this medium, and I also see that quite a lot of people trying to take up this medium as an art uh, as an art medium for their work. So which is like I'm very happy. So I'm glad that I have the opportunity to speak on Equator's live stream here because to spread to get this medium going, I have to share and educate the younger generation because school old thoughts they always think like fine art is always oil, yeah, oil, uh, even acrylic, watercolor, yes, they accept now. Graphite, yes, charcoal, yes, pastel even, but not color pencil, right? So color pencil doesn't mean that it has to be in realism form. There are artwork that who does like abstract. They are. It's only, most of the color pencil artists are quite, with age like me, 50
Okay.
something, So because probably it's a slow medium, so most people take it up as a hobby. They started as a hobby, and then it's easy to copy from photographs, rather than use your imagination. When you get to my age, imagination, cannot cannot work anymore because we are too long in the real world. Whereas the younger generation, they're still fresh. So this medium, you just need to learn the technique. Then you can explore. You say how slow is not slow. If you do detail work with oil or watercolor or acrylic, it takes time too. Your hand also hurt. So don't compare. So compare about the acceptance of this medium that I'm trying to share.
Okay, then
So MC,
yeah.
so sorry. So MCO doesn't affect me. It still go on. I still do exhibition. Still sending my work to going to send my work to Korea. After when they lifted up, this hopefully lah, I will send up. So no, it doesn't affect me at all.
All right, that's very good. So
Hmm.
after all that you have described, it comes back to one thing: why color pencil? Why do you choose this medium to start
Yeah.
with?
So yeah, like I say, when I discovered this late 2012, I
Mhm.
realized okay, first of all, color pencil is always my medium when I use in school. Teacher, I had a very good art teacher. He is not biased. When in my time, I think in the late 80s, I graduated in 88. So everyone was using what? Poster color.
Yeah.
Remember the
Yes.
banjo poster color to do their artwork, posters, and all this thing. So, and even drawing still life, watercolor, acrylic, or something. But I chose to use color pencil. I realized that I have a better control with this medium, and my teacher saw it. So I asked him, "Do you think I should use poster color?" He said, "No, Sharon, you're good at what you do. Keep it. Even for my XPM, I use that." So then when I realized that it there's actually such thing as colored pencil art, I Google, I search, and when I saw the artwork, it's just like when you saw the artwork that I present. Your jaw just like color pencil. Are you sure or not? You keep
Uh,
looking, if your handphone can blow up, you blow. No, how can be color pencil? So that was my reaction. So I Google here. I Google and ask color pencil artist in Penang. None. None. Color pencil artist in Malaysia. No. Singapore. No. Indonesia. No. Thailand. No. Then it clicked my mind. Hey, this is something new. I believe it's good enough to be considered fine art. Why not? So let's start doing it. So that's how make me what attracted to color pencil art because no one has done it, right?
Very interesting. Okay, let's to all the audience. If you have questions, you can post inside the comment section over here. Right, Sharon. So since Malaysian doesn't have any color pencil thing, would you think that there is a possibility that a color pencil society will emerge soon to educate more artists about all these things? Like we have Penang Watercolor Society and all these things.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mm.
it could be a
I
possibility, right?
could be a possibility. So I on social media I've seen a few people here in Penang actually they are using color pencil to do their art. Beautiful. Like the Dalat school when I did my exhibition in G Hotel recently. So the art teacher brought a group of the art student came and they show me their work. The teacher was very encouraging, asking them to try with color pencil. It was mind blowing. So I knew the young generation, they are very what you call uh, curious. So the exploration is there. Maybe not in my lifetime now to start a movement or a society of color pencil, but what I can do is to keep it going. So eventually, when the new generation come up, or let's say tutor, lecturers, or art teacher or something that push this medium, it when more people are interested, perhaps that will be the time when they will start a movement here in Penang. I can't teach. When people say, "Oh, teach me how," can you teach? Do you teach? It's not that I don't want to teach. First of all, you must know the basic of drawing first, because I'm not an art teacher. I'm not a qualified art teacher. I can't teach you how to draw. But what I can impart is the technical aspect of this medium. Happily, anybody who wants to know, they can go to my art page, PM me. I'd be more than happy to sort of share and guide you, but I will not teach you how to draw. You must
Right.
know how to draw. Okay.
Okay. So what is the link to your art page? Huh?
The link, okay, Sharon SS Cow pencil art. How do I type? I don't need to type.
Okay, never mind. I can do that.
Sharon SS Cow
Sharon
pencil art.
SS
SS Cow
pencil art.
pencil art. Yeah. There, and Instagram also Sharon SS Cow. So yeah, just ask me anything. I'll be more than happy to impart, or share, So, but to teach, I don't think I have the time. Not to say I don't have the patience. I do, but I still want to explore with color pencil. I keep churning out work, whether there's exhibition or not. I don't wait. I don't sit down at home and wait. Oh, there's no exhibition. I don't do anything. Every day, I'll be in my studio at least 4 hours. Maximum, I spend 6 hours in the studio when I have to do my work. So I'm very disciplined in that way. So new things. Whenever I think of something, or I saw something, or I've had an idea, I want to put into paper. So as I go on, I discover more techniques. Because there are some things you cannot get here. Some things that you use, so I have to compromise, like papers. In the US, they use a lot of Bristol paper. We can't get it here. It's very expensive. Even Nanyang has it, but it's small. But I want a full sheet or half sheet of paper. So I end up using arches, hot press arches
Okay.
paper to do.
All
Yeah,
right.
we are very lucky to have Faber-Castell factory here. Even though the color pencil is not made in Malaysia, it's made in Germany, because this is the professional pencil. So to come into that, there will be more to know about types of pencil. The pencil I use is not where you can buy the red Faber-Castell. No, it's the green one. It's the professional one. So luckily we have Faber-Castell here. So I'm using mostly Faber-Castell.
All right. So just now you were talking about discipline, like younger artists today. I think one of the problem with younger artists is to stay consistent with discipline. Right. So perhaps maybe what's your tips for younger artists to stay disciplined, to be more consistent with their works and their routine?
Well, yes, it is true what you say. The young generation or the young people, I can say, they are very impatient. They want result. That's why when you see Instagram, when you see artwork in Instagram, they see the wow factor. Like they draw a portrait of Samuel L. Jackson or Iron Man. But does it sell or not? If you do it for fun, it's fine. After sometimes you do it to have likes, on Instagram and Facebook. It's always like, oh, I do something, wow, people will like. Yeah, you do to please others, but you don't do something from inside. When you don't do something from your passion, you will never last. So you must know what you want. So when you found, like you're a toy maker, I followed your progress as well.
Right.
You're passionate, even though it's not hugely popular here. Yeah, in Japan, yes, in Taiwan,
Yes.
yes, even in China, I know.
Yes.
So I guess you understand how we feel. So it's hard to impart this to the younger generation. I think they have to experiment. They have to experience what they want first before they can decide what they want. For me, because I started in my early 40s, when I saw color pencil, immediately I sit down here in front of the computer. I told myself, that's it. This is what I'm going to do. And it will not be a hobby for fun to do only when I'm free. I will do it full time. whether it sells or not, belakang here. Who
Yes,
first?
true.
You have you have to prove to people that you're worthy, that, your art is worthy to be sold. So it takes time. It doesn't happen 6 months down the line or even 1 year. It took me about 3 years to finally get recognition here in Malaysia. When I started and a couple of years before, I was known in the States. I was known in the color pencil art circle in the States, but not here. But somehow with the social media, people spread, then people are, oh, this Sharon, she's from Malaysia. It comes back again. It's always that situation. So when people know about me, it's more of curiosity. They want to know whether I'm doing this really color pencil or she cheating one, do
Okay.
Photoshop. So, because I've never exhibited in Penang except for G Hotel last year. So during that time, I know a lot of people came, sneak and look at my work. I don't know. I have a lot of followers, but they, being Malaysian, very shy. They did not talk to me, especially the Chinese speaking. I do speak Mandarin, but they don't know. So they will go and see my exhibition, then they will message me and say, oh, I went to your exhibition and I saw. So they actually see the actual work. So it takes time. It takes time. It's not an overnight thing. You get frustrated if you're not patient enough, then you give up. People will say, why do color pencil? You want to be recognized as an artist, you have to do oil and you have to do big, at least 5 feet by 7 feet. So up to individual. I wouldn't say it's wrong, or even your genre, you choose abstract. I appreciate all kind of art. I'm not biased, you know but you have to be strong. You have to know what you really want and stick with it. Don't care what people say. Don't get emotional easily. Stick to what you do best and prove to them and prove to yourself. I think mainly is prove to yourself.
Yeah. Correct. Correct. This is really really very interesting advice. Very interesting tips.
Yeah, listen to
Okay,
Auntie Sharon.
Auntie Sharon.
So when you see me, don't ever call me auntie, just call Sharon. And don't know miss, no madam also, just Sharon, okay? I
Yeah.
still want to be young. Okay.
Okay, so we have one question from Kate Pang.
Okay.
So, how to sustain living full time in Malaysia at the beginning?
Uh,
I think
well, this is like everyone. I think this is
everyone's
this is a
question, right?
question. Yeah, Chunwa, I can throw it to you, you can throw it to me.
Yeah.
So it's hard, it's difficult to just being an artist, even if you are very well known in Malaysia, it's also very difficult because it's not consistent. You don't get salary every month, but you have bills to pay and all these things. So you have to be smart. If you have to work to sustain, you work. Nobody say that you work, you're not an artist. It's people's mouth. They can say whatever they want, okay? So you do what is right, but keep to your passion. As long as you have the passion in you, no matter how old you are, you can be 60, 70, you still be doing the same thing, and then when people observe, people will follow you. People who like your work, they will follow you. They will know whether you have improved, you have grown. Then people will start buying, maybe not consistently, but that is sad to say, like in Malaysia, everywhere in the world, to be solely an artist, you just cannot cari makan. You still have to go and be practical. This is reality. This is realism. In life. Okay. Okay, Kate.
Yeah, that's true, lah. That's true. I mean,
That's true.
a lot of people's dream is to become a full time artist, but
Not easy.
I think, yeah, I think a lot of them do not understand what full time artist means. Like everyone thinks that
Yes.
it's all about I become full time artist and I can sell one painting and that's it. I see my future as a full time artist. The income and
No.
everything. Yeah, I think there
Yeah.
are lots more than just selling a painting. It's more on
True.
how you promote yourself and how you stay
Yes.
relevant in the field. You know,
Okay. What? what I can say, if you want people to treat you professionally, especially with the age of social media, present yourself professionally, even though you are not a full-time artist. When you post on Instagram, when you post on Facebook, make sure it's professional. You don't post nonsense. Separate your social media, your personal and your art. With your art, concentrate posting and talk about art only. Don't post about your girlfriend, you're depressed. It puts people off because when people like your work, they follow your growth. Buyers are like that. uh, not everyone is lucky to have like a mega, what you call a buyers to buy your artwork in thousand, 100,000 of dollars. Impossible. It's possible. It takes time. These collectors usually they follow your progress. You know, like Nasir. Remember Nasir, the guy who just
Yeah.
passed away?
Yes.
Yeah, he has very good fundamental or basic of painting. But too bad he passed away. But you see, when they did the exhibition recently of his artwork, it was totally sold out because people follow his progress, not buy because they Christian the family. No, because his work, they even buy his earlier work, pencil sketches, charcoal sketches, because it becomes valuable where he grow from there. You have to bring yourself as professional. Talk when people ask about your work, you must be able to explain your work properly. Not just say, oh, I don't know lah. So up to you lah. You think, oh, then gone already lah. If you can't explain your work, how do you expect me to buy your work? So there are people who's like what I call the sleeping viewers. They follow your progress. Then suddenly one day they send a message, I'm interested in your piece. Are you selling that? you know it happens to me. So don't give up. Don't think that you have to be consistent. Don't think that you don't sell, you're not making money or a bit. First and foremost, I said, is passion. Money come is a bonus. So to be practical, you still have to go and find work to earn your money to makan.
Yeah. Would you agree that when you create an artworks, one of the thing about everything that sells is basically all about storytelling.
Yeah, people relate. Like the rock that I told you, it was sold.
Mm.
People relate because some people say, "Why are you drawing five pieces of rock?" So they don't relate. So to them means nothing. So, but to someone, it means something. It's not just a beauty. Even you do abstract, it has to have a story. For me, titles is very important. Where I put effort in thinking of titles. I don't simply slap and just put some title that is not relevant. And I hate when people do work and I entitle it untitled. I
Okay.
mean, sorry, apart from art, I appreciate, but when it comes to titling, because I don't, especially when you do something that I don't understand, then you put untitled. So you ask me to stand there and start to, unless it resonate with me, then it's fine. But mostly the title, like when we do realism, is a image of something uh, you see every day, right? So people say, why should I buy this piece? I take photo lah, you know.
Yeah.
But when you put the story, like the drawing of my parents' hand, of course, that's not for sale. That I keep to have and to hold. Usually, it appeals more to the elder people because they understand. That's touching. So yeah, very important. For me, title is very important.
Yeah. I
Yeah, to
think
have a story meaning.
yes. Yeah. I think the whole concept, the whole title, and the story actually gel together, right? So
Yes.
yeah, I think when I remember when I was in the college, lecturers bring us to art gallery. The first thing that they told us is that you don't have to sit there and think too much about the painting. Look at the title first, then only think. You know, try to relate the title with the with the whole concept of the painting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So yeah. I
Right?
think I
I
think
mean,
that
it's
works.
because not everyone is what you call art maestro or art collector. Art collector is different. Art
Yeah.
collectors, they have a history. They sometimes they do it. This is what you call a business part of the deal. We're talking about art. We are lay people, we are normal people. When we go to a gallery and all these things, sometimes we see, like I tell you the story about my father's portrait. This lady stand in front there and she start crying. That was like, it was like, huh? And the first thing come my mind is like, oh, my drawing is so bad. Why did she keep walking there? Is that so bad until that she cried, or very scary? So when she explained to me what she felt, that is to me is the best achievement ever. Money cannot buy. When people can explain and talk and tell me what they thought of the artwork, that is priceless for me. So that
Yeah.
is done through passion, true passion. It's not about making money. I would not, even let's say if I tie into a gallery and they say, can you produce like 20 pieces of artwork in 1 year? That is how gallery work, because they are making money. Can't blame them. They are business. But I will not do that because I will lose my soul. Churning up to make money. Yes, money is good. Who doesn't want money? But I believe along the way, I will sort of sell my soul to the devil, in order something. So
True.
I,
True.
I, yeah, I will not have the passion anymore. It will be like going to work. You just get dressed, you go to work, you just turning up mechanically, no meaning. You know, that is me talking. I wouldn't say that it appeals to everyone, but that is me.
Yeah, I think it happens even to our toys industry also. Like there will be manufacturers who try to make business and they will sign you up. But
Mm.
when you read the contract, you're gonna see like they need you to come up with two new design every quarterly. So that's the
Wow.
time when designers have to actually think uh, correctly. If this is the pathway that you're gonna head to and so on. Right. So
Wrong, not wrong. Yeah, it's not wrong. If you
yeah.
take it,
So
it's not wrong. Yeah.
true, true, true. So we have another questions, but I'm not so sure about these questions. Kind of separate the market depends on title. I'm not sure
Mm,
what does it mean. Does it
that kind of.
mean that kind of depending on the title itself or something?
Well, I'm a bit clueless. Uh, Jia Jun. Can you explain further? You can type in Mandarin if you want. I can read. Take your time. Depend on the dialects thing. I just don't know. So, well, okay. When we talk about realism, let's talk about realism. What I'm saying that it's not just realism is good. I'm
Yeah,
saying that it's a basic fundamental that you need to learn, and from there you branch out, because when you know shapes and what they call light and shadow and whatnot, it's easy for you to do abstract art or surrealism and all this thing, right? Oh, okay. Like if I draw a portrait of a tiger, okay. So whether it's marketable.
yeah. Whether it's I think this is correct me if I'm wrong, Jajun. Does it mean that it's marketable? What you draw is marketable depending on the
You
on
think
the
on the subject, on the subject.
subject matters on the title, is it?
Oh, okay. In
Okay,
the
okay.
older group, yeah, 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 yeah.
Mm.
Well, tigers. Okay. Let's be very frank, because in Chinese, tiger, a lot of people scared to buy. Usually, businessmen buy. Not everybody can put a portrait of tiger in the house. Feng shui, right? That is what I believe. So, but with the modern time now, a lot of Chinese has been like, more forward thinking. So, but it depends on the buyer or the viewers. Hard to say, really hard to say. So do what you think, like Jajun, do what you think you love best and stick to it. Sometimes when you say, oh, you're good in drawing wild animals or animals, you like to do it. So do it. You will have a market for it eventually. So ask you to draw a tiger. You've been doing tiger, elephant, and all these wild animals or dogs and cats, and then suddenly someone asks you to draw a portrait, which you can, but you you force yourself to do it. It would not come out as what you imagine. You know, be what you call uh choose which path you want and stick to it. You can try, but you must know what is your forte and stick to it. Don't please the market. The market change. People taste change. You shouldn't change. Like like Chunwai, I know you do a certain type of toy, and people ask you to do Barbie doll. Well, you
Okay.
can do.
Yes,
You
yes,
can
yes,
do.
yes.
Say about which you want to do. you know, yeah. So you stick to what you do. Your this one, but you have your market for it. Maybe slow,
Yeah,
not
true, true,
doesn't
true.
may not appeal to the mass market, everyone, but it appeals to people, someone.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's very true because like you bring up this thing, we do have like a customization and crossover from time to time, and we do
mm,
have like a crossover with designers that you never thought that you're gonna collaborate with or involved
mm,
with, but it's kind of fun to do it because every time when you have crossover, that's the time where you challenge yourself to actually do something different than what you do
yeah, get
not.
out of your comfort zone. That means to say,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Push yourself. So
yes,
yeah, it's very important. Artists, anything with design, you stick to what you know well, but don't you must, I mean, what I mean is you have to explore. So you don't say like, oh, this one I cannot do. Like, you never try, never know.
yeah, true.
But after you explore, you will show which one that is really you. Then do that. But if you have to do other thing in order to earn money, do it. Nobody say, oh, you're wrong. It's up to individual. People nowadays are so afraid of what people think of you. You
Yeah,
shouldn't.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
to be an artist or designer, you shouldn't. You have to have your own. You have to believe in yourself
yeah,
first and foremost. Yeah, you have to be able to stand up for yourself before you can do anything else.
yes,
But be reasonable, lah. Don't be
true,
so
true.
stubborn. Sometimes you say stand up to yourself. Sometimes you must actually really know what you are and what you are doing. Don't tell me, oh, I really actually don't know what I'm doing, but I stand up. What are you standing up for? You kena
True, very
hantam,
true.
you kena hantam left and right.
Yes, yes, yes,
Right.
very true. All right, so
Mm.
I think that's all that we have for tonight.
Okay, great.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Sharon. Thank you for
Thank you,
sharing this.
Wei.
Your work has been
Um,
amazing to myself, and I think to everyone
oh,
here who's
thank you.
seen your work for the first time will be
Thank you.
amazed
Thank
with
you.
it.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
for
you
your
for
time.
having me, Wei.
No
All
problem.
right.
It's our pleasure to
Have a
have
good.
you. So thank you for
Okay.
joining us. To all of you
Right.
out there, good
Yeah.
night.
Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you.
have a great evening and take good care and stay safe. We will see you
All right.
again on the
Soon.
24th, if I'm not on the 24th of June. We would have Jay Lim will be joining us as a speaker.